So here's the scenario. You're out riding your snowmobiles, you run out of gas, it breaks down, you've got to hike out. So we're gonna make some snowshoes out of the natural materials to help. The knife we brought out today is the Boker Ridgeback. This is actually more of a production version of a custom knife by Bill Coy. It's a obviously small little blade, really good looking blade. The handle scales on it make for a thick handle. It really fills your hand and it feels quite comfortable. We came out, we found a down tree, and it was perfect because it's down, but it's still green enough. And that's where we took our pieces from, the branches. This snowshoe project was a lot of fun because it's the first time I did it. So it was kind of a learning experience to go through. First thing I wanted to do is get sticks that were about sternum high or as close as I could get. And we took the knife and we started cutting the branches. Now with a knife this size, we're going to use different techniques. Sometimes we can use a baton to hit the back of it to kind of beaver chip something out. Or if you've got some green wood, you can actually bend that green wood, create some pressure in those fibers in the wood, and then take even such a small knife like this, put them on that stick, and it'll break really easily. So what I'm doing right now is we're just going to work on getting the outer frame of this first snowshoe. I'm going to build the first one, take lessons learned, build the second one. Here's going to be the outer frame, so I'm just looking for that part of it right now. Snowshoes will allow the distribution of weight, so you're not taking one single point your foot and punching it through the hole. Rather, it's going to distribute that weight, put it over a large surface area, and allow you to stay on top of the snow. This is bank line. I think it's 18 is the gauge on it. So I'm going to use bank line for the lashings, but I'm going to use paracord to lash these to my boots. What I did is I wrapped the top, lashed those two together, and then I cut another little piece about 6 inches and put that horizontally. So here's going to be the outer frame. This is going to be where the ball of my foot sits. Now this is going to be pretty important with the way snowshoes work. Again, this is my first time building natural snowshoes, but taking the concepts. What you need is you need that rotation on your toe. So I need enough room in this top portion that my toe can kind of drop down in there. So I'm looking at that right now. After I got that lashed together, moved to the bottom and then took those two pieces and bent them together. Now, interestingly enough, on the first one, it worked wonderful because you have to use green wood with these. I'll tell you right now, they're not as wide as I would like them to be. That's why I'm building one at a time. But I think it's gonna work. Following the lashing of the bottom portion, I moved up and put that last horizontal piece on and lashed that on. Clove hitch has got to be one of the most useful outdoor knots. If you're looking at learning knots, I would highly recommend the clove hitch. It's easy and it's very, very versatile. Okay, this is the last piece we're gonna put on, and then we're gonna put on the spruce boughs. And we're gonna see how this thing works. I can already tell you right now there's some things I would do different with the next shoe. Following that, I found some pine boughs. My mindset with that is I wanted to thread those through the back and then up through the front. Those are going to help me stay on top of the snow a little bit better. Let's see what happens. So that's one thing about doing this too, just in general with this kind of stuff, this kind of learning, is you can get the information from a book, from the internet, and I'm a huge proponent of that. Whatever your source may be. Then you come out here and try it, and then the real trial and error comes out. And I think that's where the real lessons are learned and the internalization of those lessons come. Now we'll take some paracord and lash it and go from there. So the concept of the snowshoes is we need to have our heel float and be able to come up freely from the snowshoe. But obviously we want the toe portion to be tied to the snowshoe. Now this last knot is going to be the trickiest. You want to go like this, and then like this. I know people have probably never seen that knot before in their life, but it's a secret outdoor knot.
I think you need 2 of those.
It might work a little better, but I'm really pleased at this point. Quite honestly, it's working. I mean, you can see. I mean, I can put my full weight on that to get myself out. After that first snowshoe and just giving it a try, man, I was really excited about it because this is the first time I've done it. Did some research on it, and of course, you want it to succeed. I mean, that works. Just having built something for the first time out of this natural material, it was a lot of fun to see it perform and perform very well. Seems to pivot fine. See, one of the things you also want to do is what happens when you pivot like this on that front end, it picks that toe up because you don't want that toe spearing or diving into the snow, especially with this design where it's not rounded at the top. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not trying to break through with that knife. I'm just trying to create a weak spot where it breaks. Ideally, you do this with a saw, but we're up here knife testing. Because we want this shape, right? And we kind of have that shape right here already. So we'll try to take that and put it to our advantage.
Doing them different than I would, I'll tell you that much. I should probably do them better.
I just think he's asking
Like a better frame material, but
Go make yours.
we'll see.
Go make yours.
I got a film.
Competition video right here. So when I was working on my set of extremely functional snowshoes, Mark started to backseat drive a little bit and started telling me how to do my job. So I challenged him to make his own.
All right, so I was talking to Cr0cket, asking him what materials he was going to use, and I pointed out that there was a lot of nice green aspens, and I asked him if he was going to use that. He told me no, he knew what he was doing. He's good at trash talking, so he called me out, told me to build my own. So I brought out the little Boker, I believe it's Nesame, I can't remember the full name, little hollow ground S30V steel blade. I decided I would try that out and build myself some snowshoes out of aspen.
Gotta make fun of Mark. He's lost. Like we were talking earlier, I mean, there's obviously a saw, we could blow right through that. Or with a bigger knife, it'd just be a little bit easier. But, you know, maybe you don't want to take the weight of a saw or of a bigger knife. You can do it with smaller knives.
What do I think so far about mine?
Yeah.
I think I need to learn my knots.
You know what? That's a good point. So I'm pushing those two ends together, and I can actually feel that thing starting to go. But I'm thinking, no, this is really green wood. It's gonna work fine. And then I hear that crack, but it went so fast, crack, and it breaks. Oh man, I just went all that work, and now it's broke. And I gotta show Mark up.
Do you patch it together?
Do you patch it together? That's a good question. I'm thinking we're gonna try it. If I was really dependent on these, I would get a new stick, because obviously that's gonna be a huge, huge weak point. The first one I made, what I noticed from cutting those horizontal pieces, I thought I made them long enough, but it didn't leave me a lot of room to lash, so I had to bring those two outside frames closer together. So the second one that I made, what I did is I cut those horizontal pieces a little bit longer. To be quite honest with you, it came out kind of sixes. They both worked well. The Boker Ridgeback is kind of a fun little knife to play with. If you're looking for a smaller blade and something that really fills your hand with a smaller blade, these scales, this is a good option. I like this finger choil up here, gets a really good control of the knife. You can see pinky is kind of onto the handle. Again, it is a smaller knife, you want it that size. The jimping on top is wonderful. I think it makes a good balance between functional jimping, but what most people won't find overly aggressive and annoying when they're using the blade.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Mine got nice legs. Snowshoes in under 2 hours?
Well, it was probably more like an hour and a half.
And then not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, I definitely could refine these. So.
Exactly. And the next time we'll shoot that much quicker.
Yeah.
Ready, set, go!
Oh crap, I can't. Oh, I told you my dog was going to come undone. Oh, Cr0cket20. There you go, snowshoes in 2 hours.
Boker Ridgeback for a small little EDC blade carrying horizontally on the belt worked great.